Hi, my name is Tate Weldon, also known as Soldier on the Muscle and Brawn forums. I thought I'd do a quick video today to explain a couple things about knee wraps, um, how to use them depending on your style, how you squat, and what you want to get out of them. I'm not going to go into great detail on a lot of different methods. There are lots of good videos about that on YouTube if you just do a quick search. There are two main ways that people like to squat if they're raw. Usually if they have gear, they'll be going very slowly, especially with multiply, obviously. But raw guys, some guys like to dive bomb, drop down hard, fast, get a lot of rebound, whereas some guys, like myself, like to go down more slowly, the same way they would if they had a squat suit on. I know personally I like to go down slowly, slow as I get to the bottom, and then as soon as I feel that I've hit parallel, explode up as hard as I can. And I have a specific way of wrapping my knees that I use, and I believe it's the best for me for that purpose. But if I was to dive bomb, drop down hard, and rebound, I wouldn't want to wrap my knees that way. It's a completely different style, and you're not going to get the most out of wraps if you don't wrap based on how you like to squat. So I'm going to change the camera angle real quick. Alright, for these first couple demonstrations I'm going to be using wraps that have Velcro ends. I know this is not standard, but I'm not really here to talk about ways to secure the straps, just different methods that you can use to get the most out of your wraps. If you want to learn how to secure the straps, again, there are lots of good videos on that. Now say I was a dive bomb squatter. Say I like to drop down hard and get lots of rebound. I wouldn't want as tight of a wrap because that wouldn't let me drop as hard. And if it slowed me from dropping as hard, I wouldn't get as much rebound. But you can still get a lot out of wraps. The way to do that is by putting as much material as possible directly behind the knee. Now you want to watch out, because if you wrap wide on the front but put all the material right here, what will happen is as you go down, the wrap will actually hold your knee in this bent position. It'll resist you as you push out. Obviously that's not what you want when you're squatting, and that's not going to help you lift any more weight. So instead of doing that, what we do is we go with a traditional wrap. I always wrap outward on both legs. I feel that it helps me get my knees out as I get to the bottom, but a lot of people say it doesn't make a difference. It's up to you. Start at the bottom, directly over the kneecap, and what I'm going to do is a traditional wrap, which means I'm going to start at the bottom, I'm going to work my way up to the top. But when I get directly behind the knee, which happens very quickly because you're starting right below the knee, once I get to the knee, I'm going to overlap more. By overlap, I mean, this is not a lot of overlap. You can see that the straps are, the wraps are almost separated, whereas this is a lot of overlap. And the way to gauge that is these lines that they have on almost every type of strap. So I'm going to overlap a lot right here. By overlapping more right over the knee, I'm putting a lot of material directly behind the knee. And then as I start to get up higher, I'll start to overlap a little less. Now, of course, how you do this takes some practice, because you want just enough left at the top to secure your wraps. Okay, and you can see the Velcro here that I'm using. Again, not a typical powerlifting wrap, but it works for this, and I use them for training. You can see by looking at the colors here that there's a lot of overlap right here, and it's extremely thick right behind the knee. Alright, what that's going to mean is that I can drop down fast, and then at the bottom there's going to be all this material building up, and I'm going to be able to essentially push off of that as I start coming up. Okay, now, like I said earlier, I don't squat that way. I slow down more, and so having a lot of material behind my knee would help right at the bottom, but it wouldn't help throughout the movement like I want it to. So what I do is I put more material on the front of the knee. Okay, what I'll do is I'll show you the way that I wrap. It's a more unique style. What I do is I put one wrap around the bottom, and then as I start to come up, I go over the top of the knee, right over the top of the knee, all the way up the leg, and then as I come back down, I go back over the knee. Now you can imagine as I go down in my squat, these two straps right here are going to push on that knee. They're going to stretch big time. And it's going to happen as soon as I bend my knee. As soon as I bend my knee, there's going to be a ton of support there. And then when I get to the bottom, it's just going to pop me right up. Now what I do is I want to lock this all together. Okay, I don't want this to slip because you can see right back here, as I go down, this is going to want to slip downward. So I want to cover it. I'm going to cover it up. So I start coming up basically in a traditional wrap. But instead of just coming up in a traditional wrap one after the other until I get to the top, I overlap a little less and I make another X over the top of the knee. There's another X right there. Okay, it's not as wide as the first one, but it's still right over the top of the knee. And then I bring it up and finish my wrap. Okay, now this is only a 2-meter wrap. Most people are going to use 2.5. It also doesn't stretch as much as more hardcore wraps, which is why I don't have much left at the top. Okay, now what I have is one large X going over the knee and another small X over top of that. I also have the traditional style wrap holding the bottom wrap in place, so it's extremely resistant to any knee bend, and it's not going to work to drop hard. You won't be able to because it's too supportive. But if you go slow and you lean into the wraps, then when you get to parallel, it'll push you back up. All right, let me go ahead and get this one off. And again, that's just how I do things. There are dozens of ways to wrap your knee, but the main point is you're going to want more material back here if you're a dive bomb squatter, more material up here, more support if you are going to take your time and go slow down to the bottom. Now I will just quickly go over how a couple different ways to secure your straps, secure your wraps. What I do is something that I did not invent at all. I'm not going to take any credit for it. I didn't come up with it. I think the video I saw called it the bow tie method. What it does is, well, first I'll just show it to you and then I'll explain what it does. I start at the top and I take some excess wrap, pull it out here. That's what you're going to end up tying off to when you come back up. Go behind the knee, and now I do that wrap that I was talking about earlier. One big X. I want to make sure it's right over the knee. And then as I come up, I make another X. I may not have enough material here because I'm not pulling it very tight. Yeah. I make another X and then continue to wrap up. Now for our purposes, I'll just bring this up here because I'm not pulling it very tight. I'm not trying to kill myself. What I do is I take this and I just tie them off. I tie a knot. Pull it through and then pull it tight. Okay? Now, you might be thinking, why would you do that? You wasted a lot of strap, or wasted a lot of wrap on that first wrap and going behind the knee that you could have used to actually support the knee. But what this does is it allows you to take it off really quickly. I hate having my wraps on forever. I hate filling with them, especially when you're lightheaded after a heavy squat. Bending over to mess with them. I train alone. I don't feel like passing out. So what I do is I grab that, pull, and then it's off. And then I just go like that, and the strap falls right off. Wrap falls right off. I don't know why I keep pulling the strap. That's what I do. But like I said, it wastes some of the length. Okay, because you have to go around up here, then go around below before you even actually start doing the wrap you want. Most people do the wrap where I'll just do a traditional wrap for this one just to show you what I'm talking about. Not doing it tight, just doing it for a demonstration. What they do is they take the last wrap before they get to the tip, they pull it up, they tuck it under. This works extremely well. It allows you to use basically every inch of wrap to support your knee, but if it's really tight, you have to try and get under here to get it out. It's just a big pain in the butt, and I don't like messing with it, so I use the other method, which when I learned of it was called the bow tie method. And you can use that bow tie method whatever method you're doing. You just have to start at the top, leave a little excess, then go around below the knee, and then you can start doing whatever specific style of wrap you want to do. If you have any questions about any of this or anything regarding lifting at all, please check out muscleandbrawn.com. Hit up the forum, become a member. We have beginners, we have experts, we have people who squatted over 1,000 pounds, we have people who have never squatted 200 pounds. And we are accepting of everybody, every skill level. And if you have questions, hit us up, muscleandbrawn.com.